having said that, not all our agriculture students are working in agriculture. Some are working as, in share market, for example. So things like that. But anyway, we are giving them opportunity for employability, basically this whole purpose. Whether they are working agriculture or not, I think, of course, we prefer for them to work in agriculture. Because the thing is, I would say that 10 years ago, the purpose, the goals of our program is not to produce entrepreneur. That was then. We are producing executive officers in the public or in the private sector. That was the goal then. Of course, now we realize that one of the goals of our program is to produce entrepreneur. Now it's a new thing. It's a new, so that's why. So, of course, when people ask me, why your students are not becoming entrepreneur? Of course, there was basically the objective of our program like 5 or 6 years ago. It's not that one actually, to produce executive. But now I think we have to produce entrepreneur. But the thing, we are not entrepreneur. We are professors like you, doctor.
Yeah.
So the thing is, we have to work with the industry.
Yeah.
In my lecture, of course, I will have some discussion on how we produce entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So do you think is it also important also, like for example, change the curriculum or adding the curriculum, including the entrepreneurship?
Yes. So basically, the first 2 years, for example, is just like basic academic program. By going to the 3rd year, probably they already become entrepreneur. They are in the field, for example. So the curriculum, we have to change the curriculum. So no longer like 3 credit, 4 credit as a normal academic programs. The first 2 years probably, by the 3rd and 4th years, they are in the field. So like the course in management. So basically they're managing their farm. So there are actually the theories there and applications there. For example, those in crops, courses in soil science, probably embedded with plant protection together with the crops. And together as a module, then you plant the crops, then everything should be there. I think we need to change the paradigm of the curriculum itself. No, of course, we cannot produce entrepreneur if we are having the normal program as we are having now. Basically now it's basically academic based, not
exactly.
But we have one program, Dr. Siti, we call it 2U to I. 2U, 2 years in university, 2 years in industry. So this is to become plantation managers. So the program is called 2U to I. The first 2 years they are in the university. The next 2 years they are in the plantation. So we are running that kind of program.
It is not kind of like vocational studies.
Yeah, I mean, they are getting normal bachelor, but we work together with the plantation, palm oil plantation. For the 3rd year and 4 years, they are in the field. Once they graduate, they become assistant manager. No, not manager, assistant manager. So they are ready-made, basically. So we have that program. So also probably the same thing if we can apply for entrepreneur program. The first 2 years in the university, the 3rd year, 4th year, they are somewhere outside. Become like, either they are in aquaculture or probably in producing chicken or producing ruminant or things like that. But they are basically practicing. That would be one way. When we are ready to start, Dr. Siti?
Yep.
Dr. Siti, no, sorry,
yeah.
Dr. Siti.
Dr. Siti Azizah is in Brawijaya.
Siti Azizah, so yeah.
Actually, before I contact you, I asked Dr. Siti also about your email, and then it's nice to have a kind of like collaboration.
Yeah, we should. I think we should.
Yeah. We're still waiting for our dean. A moment.
If somehow the internet is not very clear, you let me know, yeah?
Yeah.
Because we are in Malaysia, you are in Indonesia, but sometimes the internet.
Yeah.
But now you can hear me very clear.
Yes. Yeah, it is really clear.
But in any case, in the process of my lecture, that's why I have computers now in my room. That, yeah, let me know somehow.
Yep. Okay. Kan belum masuk. Okay. Good morning, Pak Dekan. Good morning, Profesor Bambang Waluyo Eko Hadi Prasetyono. Good morning, Pak Dekan.
Okay, good morning.
Morning.
Morning,
Pak
Prof.
Dekan.
Nasir Samsudin.
Ya, Prof. Bambang Waluyo, Prof. Bambang.
Ya, terima kasih, Prof. Nasir.
Ya, sama-sama, Pak.
Prof. Bambang and Prof. Nasir, we will start the program.
No.
Start now?
Yeah, we will start.
Okay, I start. Okay.
Nasir, wait, Prof. Nasir, I'm sorry. We will have a welcome speech first
Okay.
Prof. Bambang. Okay.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Visiting Professor Program 2021 Agribusiness Project Planning and Management, hosted by Faculty of Animal and Agriculture Sciences, Diponegoro University, Semarang. First of all, let us pray and praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, because of His blessing and mercy, we can come together without any obstacle, here with healthy condition in the Visiting Professor Program 2021 Agribusiness Project Planning and Management. Second, let us greet and pray to our beloved Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who had brought us to the path of light and left the darkness in this life. The Honorable, the Dean of Faculty of Animal and Agriculture Sciences, Professor Bambang Waluyo Hadi Eko Prasetyono, the Vice Dean of Faculty of Animal and Agriculture Sciences, Dr. Limbang Kustiawan, Agus Setiadi, PhD, and Professor Datuk M. Nasir Syamsuddin, PhD, our honorable speaker for today's activity. Student and participant of Visiting Professor Program 2021, and the invited distinguished guests that cannot be mentioned one by one. Ladies and gentlemen, let us start the program. Let's open this event by saying Basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. For this moment, as the Dean of Faculty of Animal and Agriculture Sciences, Professor Bambang Waluyo Hadi Eko Prasetyono will be delivering the welcoming and also opening speech. For Professor Bambang Waluyo Hadi Eko Prasetyono, time and screen is yours.
Oke, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Profesor Nasir Samsudin. Selamat pagi. Welcome to Visiting Professor Program 2021 organized by Faculty of Animal and Agriculture Sciences. In the past decades, the term world-class university has become a catchphrase, not simply for improving the quality of learning and research in tertiary education, but also more important for developing the capacity to compete in the global tertiary or university education marketplace. In accordance with Universitas Diponegoro vision to become a world-class university, an online presentation has been developed in the form of Visiting Professor program. This year, the purpose of this Visiting Professor program is to create a new opportunity for students in Faculty of Animal and Agricultural Sciences to get knowledge on how organizations' strategic plans are carried out and students can apply to their business development. And we invite Professor Datu M. Nasir Samsudin, PhD from Department of Agribusiness and Bioresource Economic, University Putra, Malaysia. Welcome to Universitas Diponegoro, Prof. Nasir.
Thank you. Hopefully you can come physically later.
Thank you very much. Hope you can visit us, not virtually, but physically in
Yes,
Universitas
inshallah.
Diponegoro next year, I hope.
Inshallah.
But what faculty and Universitas Diponegoro commit that the program will give benefit for students to get overview how agribusiness project planning and management in Malaysia have been developed. Finally, hope you can have nice activity and discussion this morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih, Prof. Nasir Samsudin.
Terima kasih.
It was a wonderful speech, our dean. May it be useful for us. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for documentation, and please open your camera. Start from slide 1. Slide 2. Finish? Yes. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, now we come into the main point. There is online presentation which will be delivered by Professor Datuk M. Nasir Syamsuddin, PhD, with moderator Ibu Suryani Nurfadilah, SAMSI. To Ibu Suryani Nurfadilah, SAMSI, and Professor Datuk M. Nasir Syamsuddin, PhD, time and place are welcomed.
Okay, thank you, Kelmi, our MC today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I hope all of us are in a good condition. I'm very pleased welcoming you into our Visiting Professor program. This annual program is conducted by Agribusiness Study Program, Faculty of Animal and Agricultural Sciences, Universitas Diponegoro. We already discussed about the risk management in agriculture and then agri-food supply chain last year. And today we will discuss about agribusiness project planning and management. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Suryani Nur Fadila, but I think it's easier to call me Dila, Prof. I'm from Agribusiness program too, and today I will accompany our honorable speaker and lead the discussion. And now we already have Professor Dato M. Nasir Syamsuddin, PhD, with us. Assalamualaikum. Morning, Professor.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay, it's nice to see you. How do you do, Professor? How are you? How are you, Professor, today?
I'm okay. Thank you very much. Alhamdulillah. I'm okay.
It is 10 o'clock, right, in Malaysia?
Yes.
Okay,
we are 1 hour ahead of you.
I hope you already had your breakfast.
Yes. Sure.
Maybe the first question, what should we call you, Prof. Nasir or?
Prof. Nasir, yes. My name
is
Nasir, not Prof. Nasir.
Okay, Prof. Nasir. Have you ever been to our campus before?
Not yet. Not Diponegoro.
Not yet. Oh, you
not
have
yet.
to.
I have been to many universities in Indonesia, but not yet Diponegoro. Inshallah, one day.
Okay, you have to because
after the COVID-19.
Yes.
Looking forward. Yeah.
You definitely have to try go to the Semarang because we are well known for its culinary. We have bandeng, wingko, lumpia, so you have to try. We will wait for you once the pandemic gets better. We hope it gets better very soon.
Yeah, I'm my parents from Madiun.
From
Madiun.
Madiun.
Oh, yeah.
Madiun.
My father and my mother, but I was anyway. Yeah, from the so.
Okay, you must.
Kapal isong ngomong Jawa.
Okay, you must be very familiar with Indonesia. Indonesian food.
Okay. Ngomong Jawa pun iso, ngomong Inggris iso, ngomong Melayu iso.
Okay. Excuse me, I cannot really hear you clearly. Is it the same for everyone? I think
very well.
I think it gets better right now. Okay.
Now.
Okay. Yes. Okay, everyone. Before we move to the main session, let me give a brief introduction about our speaker, Professor Dato M. Nasir Syamsuddin, PhD. Our speaker is a professor of agricultural and bioresource economics, Faculty of Agriculture, University Putra, Malaysia. Right, Professor?
Yes.
Okay. He received his Bachelor of Science from Louisiana State University and PhD in Agricultural Economics and minor in Statistics from Mississippi State University, USA. Prof. Nasir has been teaching primarily in international agricultural trade, development economics and policy, environmental economic, and managerial economic. His research area include international trade policy in agriculture, commodity market analysis, and agro-environmental economics. To this date, he has authored and co-authored more than 200 publications in a book chapters, journal articles, and conference proceedings. Also, presented more than 150 papers in both local and international seminars in his area of expertise. Our today's speaker was also previously appointed as a researcher and consultant for the Economic Planning Unit, EPU, and successfully developed the Malaysian Agricultural Sector Analysis Model. He also a member of Agriculture Consultative Panel in Malaysia Productivity Corporation. Internationally, Prof. Nasir is a member of the Pacific Food System Outlook Forecasting Panel under the Pacific Economic Cooperation Council, or PECC. Now, without any further ado, allow me to welcome our speaker to deliver his presentation. Are you ready, Professor?
Yes.
Okay, the time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning to the deans of the Faculty of Animal and Agricultural Science, Professor Bambang Waluyo, Vice Dean, and also Dr. C.V. Gayatri. In any time that you cannot hear me very clearly, please let me know. If somehow you cannot hear me, because I am in Malaysia and you are in Indonesia. But you know, sometimes technology have some difficulty. but you can hear me very well now.
Yes, it's very clear.
Can you see my slide? Okay, good. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First, of course, I would like to extend my appreciation to the Faculty of Animal and Agricultural Science, Universitas Diponegoro, for inviting me to deliver this lecture. And inshallah, I'm looking forward to go physically to your university. Now, of course, I go there virtually, but I'm looking forward to be there, of course, because of my Indonesian root. As I said just now, my parents are from Madiun, but I was born in Malaysia. So I have been to many universities in Indonesia. Wherever I'm in Indonesia, I feel at home because I can speak Javanese very well also. Okay. But at home, of course, to my late parents last time, we speak Java. Anyway, so the title of my topic today is on a very important topic actually, on project planning and management, particularly on the agribusiness project planning and management. I believe this kind of knowledge is not only very pertinent to the agribusiness students or to the agriculture students, but I think to the public at large. Wherever we manage an organization, whether it is a public organization, whether it is a profit organization, I think we cannot run away from planning certain project and also managing certain projects. But my lecture this morning is not a typical of project planning and management course like in class. Of course, I believe the student in this kind of course, we learn like cash flow analysis, feasibility studies, like, you know, like internal rate of return, net present value, payback period, all those. Those are, I think the student will learn that in a class. But my lecture today is more or less like eye-opener, trying to discuss with the students and also try to give some ideas of what are the opportunities in agribusiness projects. I'm not a business myself, so of course I'm a professor, I'm not business, but normally I give talk as a consultant to the agribusiness entity of how they can get the opportunities to do the business. So this is the thing, the topics in my lecture. By giving examples, particularly on the agro-entrepreneurship development in UPM, how we develop entrepreneur in University Putra Malaysia, my university. So these are some examples, some photograph of our students after they graduate, they become entrepreneur. I think before we start just now, I have a bit chit-chat or this discussion with Dr. C.V. Gayatri, that she asked me actually, how many of our students involved in agriculture? But the thing is, producing entrepreneur, I think so also in Indonesia. In Malaysia is kind of a new paradigm. I remember when I was the dean last time, when I proposed to the Senate on the new program, or the program in agriculture, I think then our purpose is to produce executive that can work in the private sector or also in the public sector. As far as that objective, I think we are successful. But then our objective of the programs or academic program was not to produce entrepreneurs. Now now is somehow we change our mindset. There's other than producing executive, we are also tend to produce entrepreneurs. So this is a new thing. It's a new thing. So basically, as far as producing executive, we are very successful. But as far as producing entrepreneur, we cannot say that we are not successful, because then it was not our objective. Now it's our objective to produce entrepreneurs, basically. So our graduate become entrepreneurs. So this is the thing of new. Anyway, so I think most students know what is agribusiness, basically. So this is what basically what is agribusiness. Of course, there are so many opportunities in agribusiness sector, because when we talk agribusiness, we are talking the whole value chain. Start from the input services, production, post hours, processing, marketing, and until the consumer, up to table. So it's talking about from farm to tables, or from forks to tables, basically, from farm to the forks, or from farm to table. So this is the thing, what is agribusiness? So looking at the whole value chain, looking at the whole supply chains of agribusiness, I'm sure there are a lot of business opportunities that are available in the agribusiness sector. Okay? So this is some example of a success story of UPM Entrepreneurship Program, some achievement. We started this program in 2012 when I was the dean. I was the dean of faculty last time. So we started this program, start from 2012. So until now, we already trained 334 participants. But for the last 2 years, to 2020 and this year, we stopped. Well, because of the, as you know, because of the COVID-19. So far, then we started 2012 until 2019, 334 participants, and the success rate out of 334 participants, 178 become entrepreneurs. So it's only 53%. But although our success rate was only 53%, as far as I'm concerned, we are successful, because it is not easy, and also not everybody can have PhD if they work very hard, but not everybody can become entrepreneurs. This is the problem, because entrepreneurs basically like a different breed of people. They are risk taker, they want to do business, everything. Not many people. So I said it is easier to study and obtain our PhD rather than becoming entrepreneurs, actually. So this one. So although the success rate 50%, but I believe it is already successful. Right? But the thing is, the question is, how did we do it on this entrepreneur program? So this is some example. So this is some examples of our entrepreneurs. Some are earning the sales. I'm talking about the sale. This Syarikat Berlima Agribusiness. Some are earning about 6 million a year, ringgit. I'm talking about ringgit. Of course, 1 ringgit is about probably like 3,000 rupiah now. So this is about 6 million ringgit per year, their sales. Some are not. Some about 720 million. This is in fruits business, basically. This is nanas, pineapples, and also some vegetables. This is in ruminant of beef cattle. So this is husband and wife, actually. So the sales was, this is 2019 data. 2019 data is 720,000. This is also another example, Syarikat APC Nature Farm of the broilers. This is ayam kampung, producing ayam kampung, village chicken. So around more than 500,000. So this is Syarikat Serdang Fresh. This is talking about selling fruits and also vegetables. The sale is more than 700,000. So this is another examples of Syarikat MZ or MZ Petigasi Enterprise, selling mainly chili. So more than 700,000. And this one, number 6, is Syarikat Akilah Enterprise becoming restaurant owner. Actually, the sale is more than 400,000 a year. So this is some example. So this is also in aquaculture of the sale is more than 500,000. So I would say that, you know, all these are our students actually. All these are our students. But the thing is, the way we train them is not like ordinary academic program. So they have to stay here for another 6 months. So this is the thing, because our curriculum now is not meant to producing entrepreneurs yet. So that's why I have discussion with Siwi just now. We have to change our curriculum if we want, I mean, our teaching mode, if we want to produce entrepreneurs, not like a normal kind of a program. So that basically is we can produce executive, but not can produce entrepreneurs. So this is the thing. But the question is, how did we do it? This agricultural program. So the thing is, to produce entrepreneur, of course, when we have this program we call it as Agro Entrepreneurship Incubation Program. Incubation, we incubate them for 6 months. So after they graduate, then we advertise who want to be entrepreneurs. So we take only about not more than 40 participants, not more than 40 students. And the thing is, before we admit them, we have to give them psychometric tests, whether this candidate, this particular student, have that inclination to be entrepreneur. So the test is called psychometric test. So Danny, you're still very clear? My voice very clear, yeah? Okay. And at any time my voice is not clear, please let me know. Okay. So we give them tests. So we have entrepreneurship course, graduate with entrepreneurship, then we give them the test. And as I said, we are in the universities. We are not entrepreneur. I'm professor. I'm not entrepreneur. But the thing is, how I'm going to produce entrepreneur if I myself is not entrepreneur? So the thing is, we have to work with the industry. So in this program, in this incubation program, in order to produce entrepreneurs, so we work together with the government sector and the bank. So this is Ministry of Agriculture, the Agro Bank, Department of Agriculture, this marketing agency with the state government and things like that. And very important thing also, we have to work with the industry. So in the industry, become their mentor program. So they have like mentorship and mentor-mentee. The mentee are the student, the mentor are the industry people. So this is where they have entrepreneurship lab, business plan review, private investor network, sponsorship, and those forth. These are basically from the industry. So the faculty basically, this is the faculty, we produce training module basically. So we teach them in the class. As far as the role of the faculty is, we give them training module, we give them advisory services, R&D, and facilities. This is the role of the faculty. But the industry are playing the bigger role actually. They are the mentors of this program. Without them, I'm sure this program, our program, is not successful. So in the training module, we teach the student in terms of business plan, establishment of company, financing, things like that. So at the end, so we incubate them. The incubation program take about 6 months. So this incubation consists of lecture, consists of motivation program, and also they are in the field. So for those, for example, they want to become aquaculture, producing fish. So they have really go to the pond and rearing the fish. For those, for example, want to become entrepreneur as far as fruits, for example, then they have like example like rock melon. So they have to have the farm, and they have to sell the product and things like that. So they have to do the business plan. So at the end of 6 months, the students will have a company, basically. We have the company. They are the syarikat, a company to be entrepreneur. So basically the programs, as I said just now, we have to work together with the industry, and we work together with the relevant government agencies in order to produce entrepreneurs. So this is the thing. All right. So as I said just now, we started in 2012 until 2019, 2020, and 21. Unfortunately, we cannot take students because of the COVID-19. And so far, as I said just now, the results is about around 53%. 53% of our students who are in the incubation program become entrepreneurs. Some of them, their earning is much better than professors actually. So so I think this is I would say become the so the graduate, the student, the entrepreneur become the mentor actually for our programs. So because they are earning much better than the professor actually. So this my student become entrepreneur, their salary is more than the professor. So we train them to be entrepreneur, and then the salary they are better. But as far as the professor, we can say Alhamdulillah, because of course the Prophet Muhammad said that 90% of our zakah is from business. So we are actually taking only the 10%. Professor Bambang, Waluyo, me, Professor, everything. We are just taking the 10%. The 90% is the entrepreneurs. That's why I always said. That's why I said to my student, be like professor like me, because I'm actually only the 10%. 110. 910, Prophet say is in the business. So you should be taking the 910, not me. So this is I think very good motivation to them, because I mean this is what reality anyway. That a lot of rezeki is in the business sector rather than the academic sector. But alhamdulillah, we train them and they become successful. So this is basically the training modules. So the training module consists of the whole value chain. Start from the crops, culture, livestock, food services, and also marketing and logistics. The whole value chain of agribusiness. So we have our entrepreneurs who are, as I give example just now, who are selling like fruits, vegetables, things like that. We have entrepreneurs become aquaculture. They produce fish like ikan kapten, ikan tilapia, all those. We have entrepreneurs who are selling ayam kampung. Ayam kampung in Malaysia is the demand is very high. Not ordinary chicken. There is normal. But this is talking about village chicken, which is ayam kampung. The price is very, very high. So we have premium price. So a lot of our graduate become entrepreneurs in ayam kampung. Some also in food services like restaurant and everything. Some become traders, marketing, buying and selling of food products. So these are some of our training module. The example there for them to become entrepreneurs. So the thing is normally we challenge. So normally, with my student in my class, I'm also teaching now a course called Issues in Agribusiness. One of the component of the course is telling them to come out with the business ideas, turning agribusiness issue into opportunities. So normally I will discuss with them what are the issues in agribusiness. We discuss after this, and they have to come up with a business plan for my student, a group project, and normally, of course, we have competition of business project, and of course in the business project they have to come up with the business plan, the cash flow analysis, the feasibility study, and so forth. So of course, what the thing is that how to get the ideas is from what are the issues. So normally, if there are issues, there are opportunities. Like now, for example, with the COVID-19, of course, we have a lot of issues. And I talk to my students, things of what you can do during the lockdown of become business opportunities in agribusiness. Of course, like now, online marketing is very, very what we call very trendy now, very pertinent because of the COVID-19, and also food delivery also becoming very, very important. So some of our students enter in the food delivery business. Of course, they cannot compete with the Grabs, Food Panda, all those lah. In Indonesia also they have, but they have to be their own, of course, food delivery. So, yeah, some actually they have they're selling, like, for example, like laksa. You know laksa? I'm sure in Indonesia they have laksa also, and they sell door to door. So these are some of the opportunities. Some of course they start from small. They have to cook at home, and then of course now with the app, with the WhatsApp, everything, with all the groups WhatsApp. Who for example during the weekend, who want to buy like laksa, everything, and they start selling. So this is the thing. So this is one of the good example to student how you want to turn this problem that we are facing now become business opportunities. So anything, we have lockdown, people are scared to go to eat outside, for example, then of course they want to have the food at home. So one of the examples also that my student give me, because now, of course, husband and wife, and normally, I mean, before the lockdown, before the COVID, so they have no time to cook at home. So one of the business is we send the cook at home. So during weekend, for example, this husband, wife, and the family, they want just to stay at home and they have to have a good food. So but they don't want to go outside. So the thing is, one way is to send the cook to their home. So this is also, of course, food is like business basically. So instead of sending the food, we send the cook. Of course, we have the app. They develop the app, so they just want to book the cook. Okay, I want to have this kind of food, so send me the cook this Sunday, for example. So the cook will come at home and cook for the family. So these are some examples of how can we turn issues into opportunities. So look at some examples of what are the issues in agribusiness. So these are basically the trend shaping agribusiness landscape, and how can we, normally I challenge my student, how can we turn this into opportunities? Number one, of course, population growth. In Indonesia, I think I checked the data, by 2030, your population, Indonesian population, will be more than 300 million. Okay, in Malaysia, we are talking about 40 million. Of course, Malaysia is very much smaller country than Indonesia. Our population now is about 32 million, and we expect by 2050 become 40 million. So the thing is, with feeding increasing population, I'm sure there are a lot of opportunities that can be explorable, that can be explored by our students and also by our graduates. And also the thing is, our economy, Indonesia, Malaysia, basically our income, our economy, we are basically a transforming economy, meaning that our income growth is increasing over the years. So with the income growth, of course, there is a shift in diet and also in changing food consumption pattern. So this also, there are a lot of business opportunities here. A lot of millionaires actually, because of their income has improved, so they want, for example, like healthy diet. They want healthy kind of food, for example. So this actually has given a lot of opportunities for people to produce supplement, for example. Supplement, of course, basically it's not prescribed by doctors. But anyway, so let's say you want to have clean, better skin, for example. So you have to take this supplement, for example. So this is some example because of the income growth and there is a change in food consumption. So basically also the demand for food in Malaysia and also Indonesia is not only in terms of quantity but also in terms of quality. So I mean the demand for quality food in terms of food safety things tend to be more now. So this also can be translated into a business opportunities. Thirdly, like urbanization. We are not talking about urbanization, but also we're talking about accelerating urbanization. Like in Malaysia, 70% of the population are in urban areas. Like Indonesia, I believe, of course, the higher percentage of population are also in urban areas. But remember, these urban areas, urban dwellers, urban peoples are normally a net food buyer because most food in Malaysia, Indonesia are produced in the rural areas, produced in the suburban areas, but not in urban areas. So this is where the opportunities. How can we, for example, urban farming become more important? Some of students also now, they are, instead of become urban farmers, but they are selling this, selling gadgets, selling kind of tools in order for urban dwellers to practice urban farming. This is also business. So of course, urban farming also become very, very important. Not only that they are practicing urban farming, but for us to practice urban farming, we basically also have to have certain tools. So this also basically a good business opportunities. Issues like climate change, resource constraint, because of, for example, now of course the temperature is rising, the land also become limiting as far as. So now of course things like plant factory also becoming important. Now we are of course like traditionally, of course, we produce our vegetables using land, but now, of course, we are talking about, one building, like first floor, sayur ini, second floor, different sayur, third floor, different vegetables, and so forth. So this is what we call plant factory. So because of the resource constraint. So these are also a lot of business opportunities. Talking about technological breakthrough, talking about drones, things like that. So new what we call new technology in food production, in agriculture production. So some of the students also, instead of, some are of course involved in smart farming, but some are doing business to provide all this technology to the farmers. So that also a business. Of course, digitalization, distribution system, post-COVID-19 pandemic. But I think it's good ideas also that we give our student or the student here, try to think what are new business opportunities after COVID-19. Of course, we do not know when COVID-19 will end. Hopefully soon, inshallah. But I think life will be different. The way there are new normal after the post-COVID-19. The way we live might be different. The way we eat might be different. So things of, I also want to challenge my student in my class. Things of business opportunities in agribusiness. Think of agribusiness opportunities after COVID-19. Because people are, for example, the way we live might be different. I mean, we are talking about less people going to restaurant, less people, we have gathering, things like that, because I don't know, because some scientists say the virus might be there for another 5 years or so. So because of this, then of course we have to be very careful to have a large crowd, to have large, to go to restaurant often and everything. So I think, I'm sure all the students who are listening my class now, try to think of what are the business opportunities after the COVID-19 in agribusiness. I'm sure there are a lot. Because agribusiness is wide spectrum. We're talking about online marketing, of course, it's already there. We have Food Panda, we have Grabs already there. But I'm sure there are more things that we can think, in terms of what are the business opportunities after the post-COVID-19. So this is I think the real issue. So other than issues, other than the mega trend that I said just now, but in terms of agribusiness also, we are talking about sustainable agribusiness, sustainable agribusiness development. So this is also some business opportunities. Because when talking about sustainability, talking about balancing the environment, talking about economic, talking about the social. So there are also a lot of environmental issues that we in agribusiness can take the opportunities in terms of solving the environmental issues. Meaning that, in food production, we want to have sustainability. How? So this is the question of how is where there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of business opportunities. So what I'm trying to say here is that agribusiness is not only planting crops. Agribusiness is not only aquaculture. Agribusiness is not only producing chicken or beef cattle. No, that is production side. But agribusiness is the whole spectrum, from the inputs, fertilizer, chemicals, labor, up to the consumer levels. So with all this, I'm sure with what we are facing now, especially COVID-19, I'm sure there are a lot of business opportunities that arise from the issues that I mentioned now. In terms of sustainability also, there are a lot of environmental problems in producing food, in processing food, in production, in processing. So there are a lot of environmental issues. So think, how can we minimize the environmental issues? We can turn that into business opportunities in the agribusiness sector. For example, before this I was in environmental faculty, that I give my student assignment. The assignment is what actually? The assignment is to check the garbage, household garbage in the morning. Okay, so my student will check all the garbage in the residential area and check what are the leftover that be thrown by the household. Actually, there are a lot of that have been thrown away by our household. Ini yang cakap bahasa Melayu membazir lah, membazir. That can still be eaten. So the thing is, what are the business opportunities that we can turn from there? There are a lot of millionaires selling the garbage. So all the food that be thrown away, instead of just thrown away and collect them and turn into something else. In the process, we are taking care of our environment, but in the process, we are turning waste into wealth, waste into something which is profitable. So you become probably, I don't know, I mean, it can become feed for the animal to eat, because there are leftover by the household, they can still be eaten actually. So there are a lot of protein there actually, and that has been thrown away. So how can we capture all this that have been thrown away by the household and become something useful? So these are also basically is agribusiness. So agribusiness is not only producing food, but agribusiness is the whole spectrum of the value chain of the food system. So this is what is agribusiness. And there are a lot of opportunities. And this one also in terms of technology, how can we realize the opportunities in terms of the farm now, of course, tend to become larger. And there are a lot of, because of the climate change, talking about control environment, there are a lot of gadgets, there are tools called robotic, sensor, and so forth. There are a lot of business. So meaning that I always talk the student here and always talk to my student, with all this control environment, some of you might want to become farmer in the control environment, but some of you become selling all this robotic, selling the sensor. That's also agribusiness, basically. Some, biotechnology, high-tech machinery, precision farming, all those. So these are basically the new technology that we can turn this into a business opportunities. So with that, then of course, I will normally ask my student to come out and to present the business ideas based on the issues, based on the market trend. So probably the student that are listening to my lecture now, think about it. But anyway, is Dr. CV, if you are teaching agribusiness student, I will give them assignment. Okay, so I form into groups. I give lecture in terms of just now, in terms of the mega trend, in terms of issues, and turn this into a business ideas based on the issues and mega trend just now. Think of it. After, of course, they have to present what are the business ideas, and later they have to present in terms of their business plan, in terms of their cash flow analysis, in terms of their profitability indicators like internal rate of return, things like that. But the thing is, very important is to come up with the ideas. We are not businessmen. I'm not a businessman, but normally I can give ideas to businessmen. Businessmen are actually, they run the ideas. Because all this come up with the ideas. For example, like Bill Gates. I'm sure everybody knows who are Bill Gates. Bill Gates, actually, they are, of course, probably he is so smart. That's why he dropped from Harvard, because he's smarter than the professor. Probably, So, but the thing is, I don't think Bill Gates know the detail of the computers. But he got the ideas only. That's why we have Microsoft, we have all this, all the PowerPoint, all these are from Microsoft Word, actually. So there's the idea from Bill Gates. I don't think Bill Gates know how to do all this programming and everything. Just like Facebook also, the person, I don't remember the person who developed Facebook. They also come up with the ideas only. So of course, someone else will come up with the programming, become the Facebook. But the millionaire are the owner of the ideas. So ideas are actually very, very important. Of course, after having the ideas, how can we translate into business plan and business? But the thing is, that's why I remember my old friend, a professor here also. They come out with the idea of Idea Bank. You know, Idea Bank. We have power bank now. Power bank. I mean, because of the handphone, we have power bank that we can carry all over in case our handphone out of battery. We have a bank, normal bank, we have a lot of money, but this is Idea Bank, bank full of ideas. So, but of course, his idea does not materialize. But anyway, it's a good idea now, actually. So all these ideas by the student, we put it in the Idea Bank, so that next batch of students probably can use some of the ideas, because some idea actually might be too advanced. I remember long time ago, the Minister of Agriculture in Malaysia, this is talking about like 30 years ago, he's talking about why don't we plant paddy, planting rice on the roof, on the roof, house roof, plant paddy. That time, all people are laughing, actually. What kind of minister talking? But now, actually, producing vegetable on top of the roof is common. Called urban farming. It's for common now, actually. You go to Singapore, they have a lot of urban farming. So there are a lot of, in fact, in UPM also, one of the building, Chancellery building, where the Vice Chancellor or the President, the office there, we have on the top of the roof, we plant vegetable there. Actually. So some idea actually, I said just now, our minister 30 years ago, he come up with the idea of planting paddy on the roof. People say, what kind of idea is this? Huh? There are so many land, and yet you want to plant the idea. Because his idea is too advanced. But now, actually, planting fruits and planting vegetable, basically, on top of the roof is common, basically. So urban farming is common. So this is the thing that someone come up with the ideas. So probably we have to challenge our students, come up with the ideas, especially after the COVID-19, with the issues, with the mega trend, I said just now, and with the post-COVID-19. I'm sure that because our life will not be the same as before. We have new normals. Then of course there are a lot of some business opportunities that we can come up. So I think good. So probably I also here, my student, I will challenge them later in my class, come up with the business ideas, and Diponegoro also, the faculty also, challenge the student. And normally I will have competition with the student. Competition. Because if competition is just like carrot, we give them present. So of course, not much. The group we give just like 3,000 ringgit. The second winner like 200 ringgit. That's all. But this is just as a token for them to come up with ideas. So they have to present their business plan and things like that, their ideas after the COVID-19. Then of course we give them prize. So this is the thing that we challenge the student. So of course some ideas might not be relevant currently, but probably might be relevant in the future. Some ideas are, of course now, because of the COVID, the IT platform is very, very important. IT-based ideas is very important because people don't want to be close to each other somehow. So things like that. So this is some of the ideas that we may want to challenge our student in terms of come up with this. But of course, among the having the business ideas, the issue how can we realize the business ideas. So these some of the strategies. Some of the strategies on how can we try to realize the business idea for student. Of course, number one is what we call choosing the value. Any business ideas, if you want to have feasible, they must add values. The nilai idea must have some values. So of course, this choosing the value, then we're talking value propositioning. You have to position the value and to whom the value should be. How can we get the value? And this value is for whom? For which sector of customers, for example. Of the value. And of course, if we want to challenge of the student come up with the business ideas, then very important that the idea must have certain value. So of course, this value is not for all the customers, probably for certain segment of the value. Certain idea might only applicable for those who are, the rich people, where the income level is very high. Certain idea might be only relevant for poor people, for example. So, for example, like, online marketing. Now Shopee in Malaysia, they call Shopee. I'm sure in Indonesia also they might have Shopee. But this Shopee actually is only applicable for those who have money, actually. For those high income levels. Because the poor people normally they don't have the the bank account, all this. So this is but the thing is, when you choose the value, we have to know basically the most important is what I'm trying to say here is we have to segment the customer. Who are actually our customer that our values. After we choose the value, then of course we have to provide the value. Providing the value, choosing the value, then of course we have to provide the value. So providing the value is talking about product development, talking about pricing, service development, how are we going to distribute the value and things like that. So this is like, things like marketing. So choosing the value is basically what type of product that you want to develop. After we know what are the values, what are the products, what are the services, and of course we have to provide the value to the customers. So then of course you're talking about how do we want to package the product. That's called product development. How are we going to service the product that we have, the ideas? How much the price? And how are we going to market the products? This is called providing the value. And very important also is also talking about communicating the value. This communicating the value basically is talking about advertisement. We have to tell the people, hey, I have this product basically. So this is talking about communicating the value. So this is the thing what I said just now. First, of course, we have to choose the values. This is choosing the value, basically, talking about value positioning, basically, what type of product, what type of service we are talking about, this value positioning, and also talking about market segmentation, talking about who are our potential customer, the product that we have. So the student over here, the student in this class that are listening to my talk now, anything business ideas must have values. Ada nilai tokoh ni. Ada nilai tambah dia. Untuk siapa produk ni? Must have some nilai. Kalau tak ada nilai, then orang tak belilah. So this is the thing that they must have certain values. So ideas, in order to be feasible, there must be additional value to the customers. For example, like contoh example like Shopee, for example, they have value because Shopee is very before the pandemic. Actually, Shopee in Malaysia, they are not famous. During the pandemic, now for the last 2 years, 2020 and 2021, because of pandemic, because people don't really go to the supermarket and everything, then Shopee become very valuable in that sense, because there is some value in terms of people get the product right at the door. So they just instead of going to the shop, then the product come to you at home. So that's why Shopee is very famous during the pandemic, because it creates certain value in the sense that the customer don't have to go to the shop don't have to go to the supermarket. So the product come to you instead of you go there and buy the products. And of course, I said just now, after we choose the value, and we have to provide the value, providing the value in terms of, as I said just now, in terms of product development, in terms of what R&D in order to perfect the product, in terms of input procurement, in terms of service development, in terms of distribution channels, things like that. So these are providing the value. And of course, very important also, when we have the value, when we have the product, when I said the value, mean the product or services. When we have the value, in terms of product or in terms of services, we have to communicate the value. We have to do promotion. We have to advertisement, everything. Tell people that we have the product. So if not, of course, people do not know that what our product is all about. So this is very important. And of course, this is some of the business plan, the idea. Once we have come up with the ideas, of course, we have to translate it into a business plan. So these are some of the some examples of the business plan. How? Of course, in order to do business plan, I'm sure the student have learned this in class, but this is more of later we can have discussion on this. Of course, we have to do market research. Who are the potential demand? Who are the potential customer? So it's very important. Not only who are our potential customer, who are in terms of how much, in terms of the demands of our product or services, but also we have to know who are our competitor. In the market, is there many competitors that are selling more or less similar product or similar services? Cannot. If a student, for example, now want to have food delivery business, who are your competitor? I'm sure that in Malaysia we have GrabFood, we have Food Panda, and there are one more new thing. I think they have like Mover or something. Oh, I mean, there is a new food delivery. So this is our competitor. But the thing is, in order to compete, for us to deliver the same product, then our value must be more compared to them. So this is the thing. Just like, you know, then of course we have to know the 4 P's in terms of the prices, in terms of the people, in terms of product. Okay? And also you may want to do the SWOT analysis. So in the business plan, of course, market research is very, very important. It is a process of collecting, analyzing, and interpreting data with the target, about your target market in terms of consumers, competitors, and the industry as a whole. So student, once you have the ideas, before you convert into a business plan, of course, it's very, very important that you have to do the market research in terms of how much is demand for your products, who are your competitors, in terms of what the price of your products and things like that. And to do that, actually, you can conduct the SWOT analysis. I'm sure all the students here know why SWOT analysis, in terms of the strength, in terms of the weaknesses, in terms of opportunities, and also in terms of the threats of your product. Then after the business plan, of course, you have to know, as I said, this is also talking about market research. The process of determining the viability of the new service or product through market research by the customer. So top 10 market research benefit for startups. For startup, basically, it's a new business. Of course, you have to know the industry outlook about the industry as a whole in terms of the market size, market trend, competitors, buyer personality, in terms of market segment, target market, competitor market share, product pricing, and product marketing. So these are the 10 points that the student has to know in terms of market research. So once you come out with the business ideas, then we have to do the business plan. Part of the business plan is market research. Market research basically talking about who are the demand, who are the potential demand of your products. So of course you have to know the market size and the market trend, for example. In Malaysia now, for example, I don't know in Indonesia, but in Malaysia, lamb, eating lamb, kambing, you know kambing? I'm sure everybody knows kambing. Lamb, grilled lamb, I mean the grilled lamb is become a trendy now. It's a market trend actually. In any, of course before COVID, in any kind of gathering, for example, Hari Raya gathering. In Malaysia, of course, we are very famous with the open house. I'm sure in Indonesia also. After Shawwal, for 1 month actually, we celebrate Idul Fitri for 1 month. Every weekend there is open house. We fast for 1 month Ramadan and we celebrate for 1 month also. Sometime until Idul Adha. But anyway, it's a very trendy now. Like in Malaysia, we have a grilled kambing. Grilled kambing. I mean, so it's very trendy. So I think doing kambing business actually before the COVID, of course, is very profitable. It is normally it's about 1,000 ringgit, 1,000 ringgit per kambing. I mean, they come to your house and they grill for you and they cut for your guests and so forth. So this is one of the trend in market. Like Now also, drinking coffee somehow is a trend now also in Malaysia. So lately, in area close to UPM, we have a small town called Serdang. UPM is located in Serdang. It's a very small town, just campus town. Just like Bogor, very small town. That is smaller than Bogor. They have a lot of these truck. You know truck, Suryani? Truck. Small lorry, truck. Selling coffee. Many type of coffee. Okay. It's not cheap actually. Per coffee about 8 ringgit. It's very expensive actually. 8 ringgit is expensive for coffee. You can go to restaurant, normally coffee like teh tarik, all tea about 1 ringgit something only. You can get 1 ringgit 20 cents actually. But they're selling about 8 ringgit per cup. Different type of coffee. So now also it's a trendy. So I don't know why somehow after COVID, during COVID, people like to drink coffee. I don't know for what reason. But there are several trucks in Serdang selling coffee. So they don't have the shop. They have just a truck and they open up the truck and selling different of coffee. And then at night, they close the truck, they bring the truck, they go home basically. So they come up with the truck. So actually the truck they park the truck just somewhere in the parking area, and then they open up the door of the truck and selling coffee. That's all, the business. And there are people during lunchtime queue to buy the coffee. I don't know why, but this is a market trend somehow. So of course it's agribusiness, selling coffee is also agribusiness. So this is some of the ideas. I don't know how people come up with these ideas of selling coffee at the trucks, you see, and different type of coffee actually. Just like Starbucks, I'm sure you have been Starbucks, different type of coffee, and it's not cheap, but some more people buy this type of coffee. But buying coffee not to stay there, just buying coffee and go back to the office or go home basically, because they are selling using the truck. That's all. So this is the thing is this, and I'm not surprised later. I'm sure this truck later they will open up tables, chairs, and people buy coffee and sit there later. And probably at night they will take all the tables and chairs and bring home. So they don't have to have a shop actually. They just buy a truck actually. So this is the thing. So this is some market trend. But other students, of course, I'm sure those who are invested in selling this kind of coffee, they have done some kind of homework in terms of the industry outlook, in terms of the market size, in terms of the trend. Of course, trend in terms of the target segment, of course, this kind of coffee must be, you can sell this to the area where people has money actually. It's no point selling expensive coffee, you go to the poor area, then it's no point. So the target market, you have to know who are our target market. So this is the thing, the important of research. Next, in terms of course, in terms of the industrial outlook, then one of the market research is industrial outlook. Then of course we can conduct the scenario analysis. So the students have done the past analysis in terms of the social factor, in terms of technological factor, economics, political. Then of course, before you do the SWOT, then past analysis is very, very important. In terms of the potential, the scenario of the industry that you are going to enter. Then of course, you can do the SWOT analysis. Of course, these are, I'm sure the students have learned this. These are some of the some SWOT metric in terms of the strength, weaknesses, approaches, and the threat. Anyway, I already sent this slide to Dr. CV. So Dr. CV can share my slide to everybody. This is some of the business plan in terms of feasibility study. Feasibility study basically is an empirical instrument during the project design. that demonstrate how a company will function under a certain set of assumptions. Then, of course, so basically, before we invest in some project, business plan is very, very important. Spend the time and resource necessary in developing the business plan, because the business plan talking about the product feasibility, of the industry market feasibility, in terms of the organizational feasibility and so forth. It's very, very important that the student conduct the feasibility. So of course, there are 4 types of feasibility analysis in terms of the number 1, in terms of financial feasibility study, in terms of cash flow analysis, internal rate of return, net present value. And on top of that, also we have to conduct product feasibility and market feasibility, and also in terms of organizational feasibility. So this is some of the process. So with that, basically, I end my lecture, about 1 hour, and of course, I'm very glad we can have certain discussion, certain question by the student. We can share. Not necessarily I have the answer. I might not have the answer, but we can discuss about it. So thank you very much. Anyway, doing some promotion. This for those students who want to go to UPM. These are some example of the campus of We Love UPM there. So these are some of our students. Anyway, we have about 4,000 international students. So that's why these are example of international students. So because we are basically agriculture university, that's why we have what we call, this is if I'm not mistaken, rubber trees, or probably rubber trees. This is an example. Anyway, we have farm here. So thank you very much for listening to my lecture, and then now we can have certain discussion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Nasir, for delivering an eye-opening and interesting presentation. Okay. What makes me the most is the successful rate of your entrepreneurship program. Less than 10 years, we already able to see the result of this program, right? From 2012 until now, it's less than 10 years, and we already know the result. We can see how much students they're able to be the entrepreneurs. It makes me the most proud. Okay, we have to learn a lot of things from your faculty program, I think. Okay.
we can learn from each other.
Okay, now we come to the second session, which is the Q&A session. I think we receive a lot of questions right here. Prepare yourself, Professor.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. I like to choose maybe for the first question, for the first session, I think I'll choose the 3 questions. Okay, anyone of you want to ask directly to Professor Nasir? You can raise your hand. Anyone? Or I'll just read from the chat column.
Yes.
Okay, maybe first, this is a question from Naja Nadia Basalam. Based on your experience to notice students, what is the biggest difficulty for them to get successful in this field? Thank you.
Let me check the question.
The question is on screen. Can you see?
Oh, this is on screen. Oh, okay. Based on your experience to know student, what is the biggest difficulty for them to get successful in this field? You see, when we train since 2012 until 2019, this is why we train. Because I said 2020, 2021, we stopped because of the COVID. We are able, the success rate is 52%. We train more than 400 participants, 400 students, and only 178 have companies. one of the challenge actually or difficulty for them is in terms of their interest in business. Actually, some of the participants who come to our program that time because they are unemployed. They graduate, they don't get a job yet. But once they got the job, then they don't want to be entrepreneur anymore. This is our biggest challenge actually, because the mindset, is it the person itself, difficulty. That's number one actually. Number one is whether, of course, we have interview, we have psychometric tests before they come to our program. We have a test, psychometric test of their interest to be entrepreneurs. We interview everything, but still, some of them when they got salaried job, become executive, then they don't want to be entrepreneur. That is one of the biggest challenges actually. Number two, actually, the endurance. Endurance, of course, become entrepreneur, there are a lot of challenges. It's talking about day and night job, not only from 8 to 5 like us, professor, become lecturer, come to the office at 8, go back on 5 or 6 o'clock. But for them, there is no such thing as office hours. But of course, number 3 is talking about capital, talking about market and everything. That is, but for me, in my experience, the capital, I think there are a lot of banks here, especially in Malaysia. We have Agro Bank. And of course, in the ministry, there are a lot of these facilities to give to the startup person who want to become entrepreneur in agriculture. There are a lot. There's no problem actually. But the market also, we have a lot of agency. Like here we have FAMA. FAMA is Federal Agriculture Marketing Agency in Malaysia that can help marketing the products. For me, that is not the problem. The problem is whether the interest retained to be entrepreneur, facing the challenge of becoming entrepreneur. That is the biggest difficulty for them to get successful in the field. Is the person inside. Yeah? So for me, my experience, money is not a problem. Market actually is not a problem. I mean, it's a problem, of course it's a problem, but it's not number one problem. The number one problem is the person itself, whether they still have interest to be entrepreneurs. Yeah? Because I said just now, when they got the job,
okay, so maybe the
bank, a job in the government sector, then of course, I don't want to be entrepreneur anymore. That is one of the challenges. In order to this, I hope I can answer the question by Nadia Basalam of the biggest challenge. The most difficulty is the interest of becoming entrepreneur. Yeah? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Professor. So this the 3 point is interest, and then endurance, and don't be afraid of capital or market, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What I say is that capital market is not a big problem.
Yes, don't be afraid.
The biggest difficulty is you itself, the entrepreneur. Yeah.
Okay, right, Professor. Thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
Maybe we can move to the next question, please. This is from Khairuddin Hassan. What should we do? In fact, the result we get in agro entrepreneur are not in according with the plans we have made because there are problems or obstacles that we did not expect. Well, we have spent a lot of money. Thank you.
This is very common. This is very common, and of course, I must say it's not entrepreneur, but I talk a lot with entrepreneurs in developing these information programs. Of course, I work together with the entrepreneur, with the industry people. The reason is that this is where the market research is very, very important. Yeah? The business plan, Of course, one of the items in business plan is market research. Market research is one of the items in business plan. That's why in our market research must be the potential investor, the potential entrepreneur, before investing in certain product, must, of course, I mentioned in my slide just now, must spend a lot of time and resources in doing the market research. Very, very important. Because the time, sometimes when the time change, of course, the demand might change. The technology might change. More competitor will be there. That's why the sometimes it's not according to the plan because of obstacles. But if we have a good market research, a good business plan, then hopefully that we have like option 1, option 2, plan 1, plan 2, plan 3, and that. So it's very, very important. Those two students. Those normally when I talk to the entrepreneur, my students, you must have backup plan. It's very important. So in market research, please, I would say, spend a lot of time in market research until such that you have like various strategies, various action plan. When things change, then you must have backup plan. This is very important. So the question here, sometimes are not according with the plan we have made because there are problems. That's why before the problem happen, we must be able to identify what are the potential problems. What are the potential competitor? What are the potential demand? What are the potential obstacles? Must be in our market research so that we have backup plan. Having said that, sometimes things might happen beyond our control. Harudin. Having said that, I mean, all the plan A, plan B, plan C market research, because of the 10 points just now I mentioned in the market research, of course, we have to have various plan. After having said various plan, sometimes things happen also beyond our control, beyond us. Then, of course, we have to take it as a challenge, and try to minimize the risk. So, of course, entrepreneurs normally are risk takers. But the thing is, for us, if we have a good market research plan, a good business plan, we can basically minimize the risk. And that's the word. We minimize the risk. Of course, there is no such thing as zero risk because everything will change. But if we can read, if we can focus, if we can identify what are the potential obstacles, then inshallah, I think we can minimize the risk and we have the backup strategy, backup action plan in order to tackle the problems. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So the first thing is about market research to reduce the risk, and of course, the second one is persistence. Don't be discouraged after experiencing the failure, right, Professor?
Yes.
Okay.
But thing is, Suryani, if you have a good market research, normally a good market research will identify the potential obstacle.
Okay.
Already, but these are the potential. These are the trend in terms of technology. These are the trend in terms of customer demand. These are the trend in terms of factors affecting our business. If we can identify those, I think we can minimize. The word is, there's no such thing as zero risk in business. No such thing. There must be a risk. But the thing is, we can minimize the risk. That's the word. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Okay, let's move to the third question. Okay, this is from Ratno Marwoto. If we have already the product, can see it. Okay. The market and the price that match with the demand, but then during this pandemic, the income reduced. Some of our consumers cannot to buy the products, so the quality of product reduced as well. Will it damage the other consumers who still need the same quality? Thank you.
If we have already the product, the market, and the price that match the demand, but then during the pandemic, the income reduced, some of consumers cannot buy the product. So the product reduced as well. We damage the other. Okay. Put it this way. This pandemic, the question is talking about endemic, but before we talk about endemic, talking about pandemic. This pandemic, COVID actually is, nobody knows it happened. When we were in 2019, we never think that 2020, 2021, our life will be like this. There is no student in campus, our teaching will be online, and things like that. So there are a lot of people losing jobs, of course, reduction in income and everything. So during the endemic, this is very, very pertinent question. During the endemic, we are in Malaysia, we are moving toward endemic now. Meaning we have to live with the virus. We cannot, the virus, COVID-19 virus will be there for the next, I don't know how many years, but we have to live with it. Just that we have to have new normal in our life. So during the endemic, of course, of the effects, so endemic basically the post-COVID-19, some people, some income have reduction, of course, the demand for certain quality of the products. In my opinion, then of course, your product must have different quality. Actually, not during endemic also. Your product must have different, what we call different products, basically. Different standard for different income people. Or rich people who want to buy high product, just like selling a car actually. Just selling a car. Some car is very expensive. This is for those who are able to buy BMW or Mercedes-Benz. Some car is very cheap, like Kijang, for example, in Indonesia. Kijang is very, very popular and not as expensive. Of course, expensive, not expensive as BMW or Mercedes, for example. So your product will be like that, basically. So your product must have, these are for low-income people. These are for high-income people. So actually, the product might be the same, but different packaging. The quality might be the same, but packaging might be different, things like that, for high-income people. Because people with money, they are actually buying the service, actually, not the product, the service. Like for example, like burger, for example. Example of Agribisnis is a burger. We can buy burger from the roadside in Malaysia, from the roadside, which is very cheap. We can buy a burger also from Burger King or McDonald's. But the thing is, burger is a burger, the same thing. The same bread, probably, the same meat, everything the same. But of course, the packaging is different, the quality might be different, things like that. So meaning, to answer this question, yes, you must have different product for different people, for different income level, people with different income level. For high income people, this is the product. For low income people, this is the product. For medium income people, this is the product. The product may be the same. The product are the same, but the packaging, the attribute of the product might be different. So to answer the question, the quality might be still the same, but different set of the products for different income people because of the endemic COVID-19. Thank you very much.
Okay, so the answer is we need to maintain the quality, but we also have to know who is our consumer,
Yes.
right? And different product from different consumers.
It's the same product, but probably different packaging.
Okay.
For rich people, we package differently, expensive. People, we package differently for yeah.
Okay.
Might be the same. Just like burger just now. Burger is a burger, but probably different thing. Like a car. Car is a car, but they have Mercedes, BMW, Kijang, things like that. For different people with different income levels.
Okay. So the differentiation is the key.
Yeah, product. Yeah, that's good. Product differentiation. Yeah. I forgot to use that word. Yeah, thank you, Suryani. The word is product differentiation. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. And then we can move to the next question. We have from Leonita Melati Sinayu Putri. How do we know if a trend will last for a long time or no? For example, trend of a certain food, people will eventually get bored of it. How should we face the condition? Should we keep selling it or sell another product?
What is a good example for this? Or trend, for example, like coffee just now.
Coffee or
coffee, Starbucks. It's a very trendy. In Malaysia also we have, I don't remember what kind of drink. Leaf tea. No. They can buy basically at the petrol kiosk. Certain type of drink.
In Indonesia, we have Thai tea.
Say again?
Thai tea. Thailand tea, yes.
Yeah, I think something like that. Something like that. It's very trendy. It's very Malaysia and also Indonesia now, especially by the young people. Just talk to my daughter. Why you buy this kind of thing? It's very expensive. But for young people, very trendy. But the thing is, sometimes very difficult to identify whether the trend is very long or not. But normally in food, we are talking about agribusiness. If talking about clothes, for example, the trend, of course, like ladies normally, they like the trend. Like your scarf also, different trend. But the thing like food, normally, because food is food, normally the trend will have some time, normally, because it is necessity. Okay? So like Starbucks has been around for many years. Like Western food, for young people has been many years. So we have coffee bean here for many years. But in my experience, for food commodities, the trend is not very short period. Of course, there is a life cycle of the products, certainly, but normally the time will be very long for food commodities. So of course, in business, that's why I said market research is very important for you to identify the trend. How long is the trend, and how can we develop a new product to overcome the trend? Maksudnya, we are not also, as a good businessman, you are not only following the trend, but you are be able also to be trendsetter.
Oh, yeah, create the trend.
You set the trend. I'm sure Starbucks are the trendsetter. Coffee bean are the trendsetter. And people who are buying a coffee, they are trendsetter. Instead of they following the trend, you are the trendsetter. So when you are in that product, please develop the product until become a trendsetter. So there is also one way to stay in the business. You develop product, become trendsetter. I think anybody who become the trendsetter with a good market research, I think can make money. But I think I do not know. I haven't done this studies yet. Because you are, they call it first mover. They call it first mover advantage. I'm sure that you know that word. First mover advantage is you are the first person in that business. So that's the good thing of trendsetter. So my response to Leonita, of course, number one, the food commodities, normally the trend is take some time, but once you are following that trend, try to be a trendsetter, basically. Try to develop new products so that people buy your product. But I don't know, that's why sometimes we have to challenge our mind. I mean, talking about 15 years ago, there is no Starbucks, there is no coffee bean in Malaysia. So also in Indonesia. But suddenly people like to drink coffee bean, which is very expensive. This is the things, but we have to, but this is for, I mean, as our income grow, then we have to study what type of food, what type of product that the consumer want to buy. Thank you very much.
Okay, Leonita. So the answer is market research is important, and then not only the market research, you have to be a trend center, because a trend center grab the huge market share, right? Okay.
Not following the trend, not only following the trend, but also to be trendsetter.
Okay.
Just like now that Suryani mentioned, just levity. High tea, yes, high tea. In Malaysia also we have that.
Yes.
Someone will be a trendsetter. Very expensive actually.
Thai tea, and then Milo Kepal, maybe you know.
Milo.
Milo Kepal, yes.
Oh, we don't have that
here. It's from Malaysia, no?
Oh, okay.
But
the thing is,
from Malaysia.
But the thing is, someone must have developed that product and then become successful. So.
But the market is already decreasing right here about Milo Kepal, and then what is it? Thai tea.
Yeah, but then of course this is where we must be able to change the product.
Yes. Okay.
What with the new product?
Professor, we have someone who wants to ask you directly. Ahmad Faiz Armianosha. Are you still here? Because he messaged me, selamat pagi Ibu, maaf untuk pertanyaan dari saya, apakah boleh on mic dan on cam? Please, Ahmad Faiz Armiano, Nino.
So,
where is Nino?
Faiz want to ask question personally, or I read the question?
No, someone wants to ask personally, but I think he is in trouble with his connection. Okay, maybe we can move to the other question first.
Okay.
From Gary Simarmata. In this era, it is very difficult to find people who want to become entrepreneurs, especially the younger generation in Indonesia. How to handle that problem and how to keep the entrepreneur from leaving, especially after they are getting their job, right? Yeah,
this is we are facing similar problem. One of the reason. We always talk to one of the reasons that why the productivity of agriculture is very low. One of the reasons is the farmers are very old already. Not only old farmers, but uneducated farmers. Once they are uneducated farmers, of course, they don't follow the good practices. Not only don't follow good practices, but they don't adopt technology. So all these are, become related to one another. So in Malaysia, of course, in my research, there are 3 pillars in order to improve our productivity. Number 1 is the good policy. Second, the technology. But the third one, which is very, very important, we have good policy, we have good technology, but the people, the farmers, the entrepreneur. This is very, very important. Okay. So it is not easy for the young generation to get involved in agriculture. Our graduate also sometimes they don't want to be in agriculture. So this is where, because the type of agriculture that we have, especially on food production, is they have the old picture that agriculture must be under the hot sun. For example, it's a very dirty job. 3Ds you call dirty and things like that. But the thing is, of course, there are two types of agriculture. One is in Malaysia, also in Indonesia, one is called perennial crops or industrial crop like palm oil. That one is okay. That was okay. But not talking about food production, about the crops, livestock, and fishery. So that's why we always talk to the student. If we Google what type of farming practice in the future, so we want the farmers actually following the new practice of farming under the protected environment, with all the technology, things like that. So if we have that, hopefully, because I have my student like planting figs. You know what is fig? Buah tin. You know what is buah tin? Suryani, buah tin.
Buah tin?
Buah tin is a
I don't.
That is in Surah Al-Quran. So
What ini was zaitun?
Figs, about figs. He plant, my student, he plant this buah tin of fig fruit under the shelter, under protected environment. So it's not hot, it's very sustainable, there is no pesticide and everything, things like that. So these are the new type of farming. If we can have this type of new farming, then it probably can attract the younger people to go to food production. So meaning that we have to be, agriculture have to be trendy also with the new technology. So the trendy of agriculture. So if we are following a good trendy agriculture, food production, using all this drone, using sensor, using protected environment, things like that, I think can attract the younger people. Okay. I think last week I visited this plant factory. You know, plant factory, but planting vegetables. First floor, different type of vegetable. Second floor, third floor, different type of vegetable. It's not under the hot sun at all, under air condition. So of course the cost is very, very high. But the thing is, I asked him, how much is the cost of producing this type of vegetable? And he said normally it's about 60% higher than conventional type. But we have to know who want to buy this product actually. There are rich people who want to buy the product which is free of pesticide, free of chemicals actually. So of course he can sell the product at a premium. The cost is very high, but he can sell the product at premium. So the farmer actually is a scientist. It's an engineer who plant that actually. So it's not agriculture graduate. It's an engineer. Very young people. I mean, having a plant factory. So I think we have to give idea to our graduate, to our student, in order for them to come to agriculture. So no longer old type of farming. Of course, the old farmer is still there. Old farming is still there. I mean, they will exit by itself. But give the picture to our younger generation, the new types of farming, basically. Then, of course, inshallah, I mean, hopefully they are interested. But anyway, in my experience in Malaysia, all this like plant factory, planting under protected environment, like buah fig just now, all are practiced by younger people, actually. Not old people, younger people. Because they have to have a lot of technology, you know, all the scientific element is there. So that's why old people cannot run this kind of plant factory, only young people, because they have to mix the nutrients, things like that. So my answer is, of course, very difficult to find people who want to become entrepreneur, but I'm talking about agriculture entrepreneur. To answer that question, we must
create the trendy image.
Trendy farming practices.
Okay.
Hopefully they will stay in agriculture.
Okay, I think the reason is because agriculture is old school in the mindset of our student. So they prefer getting job from a company and leave their business, right?
Yeah. To answer that question also, this is very interesting. Just now, before we start, I have talked with Dr. CV Gayatri. Yeah? We may want to have different curriculum in producing entrepreneurs. So, meaning that normally our curriculum is that the student come to university for 4 years. Year 1, year 2, year 3, 4, and hopefully they can become entrepreneur. I don't think so. They can become executive, become the public, in the government or private sector, no problem. But I think we have to change our curriculum in terms of delivery. Probably the first 2 years are like normal curriculum, but going the 3rd year, 4th years, they have the farm already. The year, if you are interested in producing fish, aquaculture, they must, talk to the government, state government, with all relevant agency. This person must already have the farm, or they can practice in university farm. 3rd year and the final year, everything must be modular based. Then hopefully at the end, once they graduate, they have the degree, bachelor in agriculture or bachelor in agribusiness, and a company. A company to run the farm already. So if we have that kind of program, inshallah, I think we can become more and more entrepreneur from our country. I mean, the 3rd and 4th year, they become entrepreneur already. So not necessarily at the outside, but at the university. And they learn all the scientific, for example, in producing fish, all the biology for fish, the nutrient, the feed, everything is modular based. So they practice and they learn actually. So once they graduate, they got a degree and also the company to become entrepreneur. And I think this is probably one way that we can produce more younger people to be interested to be entrepreneurs.
Okay, thank you, Professor. I believe that there are still any question, but due to the time restriction, I think we can choose only one last question, please. Okay, from Wulan Arianti. Assalamualaikum, Prof. Nasir. I have some question to ask, please. Based on your experience, has anyone or your student managed to start a business by borrowing funds from a bank or other institution due to lack of capital? And okay.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. Wulan Arianti. I think in Malaysia, probably I do not know the situation in Indonesia. But in Malaysia, there are a lot of government facilities, including agro bank, that give capital to startup people, to new entrepreneurs. In Malaysia, as far as the capital to start a business in agriculture, no problem. But with a good business plan, of course, with a good business plan. Normally, like our student, in our incubation program, we call the industry people, we call agro bank, the bank called agro bank, and we call the relevant government agency, and we ask our student to present the business plan to them. And they will comment, and then they will improve the business plan. So normally they will give the capital.
Okay, so
and how does he convince consumer that his product is highly recommended? So meaning talking about getting
market.
Getting the fund. But one way, as far as our university, is that we ask our student to present the business plan in front of agro bank, in front of industry people, in front of us lecturer, and also relevant government agency. And then we comment the business plan and everything. And of course, later they will get the funding. Diponegoro can follow the same.
Okay, so the answer is as long as you have a good business plan, so don't worry, right?
Inshallah.
Okay, that was the last question, and I think we had an interesting discussion today, Professor. And we finally come to the end of part of the seminar. Before I close the seminar, I would like to take conclusion from what the speaker have presented. Entrepreneurs play an essential role in agriculture development. Prof. Nasir already gave us example how UPM carried out the agro-entrepreneurship development program, starting from formulating courses, providing incubation facilities such as training, advisory services, R&D, connecting with the industry or other supporting institution. And the success rate of this program, it's outstanding. And he also explained about how we need to turning agribusiness issue into the opportunities, the good business entity. First, we need the business idea, and then choosing the value, providing the value, and communicating the value through, of course, market research and business plan. Okay, that was the conclusion, and I think we got a lot of enlightenment today, Professor. So I like to thank you very much to our speaker, Professor Nasir Samsudin, for the new insight and deeper knowledge about agribusiness project planning and management. Professor, we are looking forward to welcoming you in person in Semarang.
Thank you very much. Of course, I would like to thank you again to the Dean, Professor Bambang Waluyo, to Dr. C.V. Gayatri, who contacted me to give this talk, and also to Dr. Suryani Nur Fadilah. Thank you very much. And hopefully, being a Javanese, I like Indonesia very much. My root is from Jawa. So isong ngomong Jawa.
Oh. Okay, we hope to see you soon, Professor. And also to all participants, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for your active participation. Hopefully, the seminar will be beneficial for everybody. Finally, as today's moderator, I apologize if there are any shortcomings in guiding this discussion. Thank you very much, and see you soon on the next occasion. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
I will return it to the Master of Ceremony. Tell me, please.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Datuk M. Nasir Syamsuddin, PhD. Thank you, Professor Datuk M. Nasir Syamsuddin, PhD, for the information and knowledge which have been given to us. May it be useful for us. Before we close our program, Ibu Siwi Gayatri, PhD, would like to give some closing remarks. Bu Siwi, time is yours.
Thank you, our master ceremony. Yeah, hello everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Pak Dekan. Good morning, Prof. Datuk M. Nasir Samsudin, all participants, and also our student. I believe during our activity today that all of us have obtained a fruitful discussion, and we have learned a lot from our speaker today, Professor Datuk M. Nasir Samsudin, PhD, who have shared his interesting work in UPM. Once again, on the behalf of the committee, thank you for delivering such important material so that all of us can deepen our knowledge about project planning and development, especially in agriculture. Furthermore, I would like to thank all participants who have joined this Visiting Professor program and all committee members for organizing this program and ensuring that it proceeds smoothly. There is a saying in Indonesia, ada perjumpaan maka ada perpisahan, which means when there is a meeting, there will be a goodbye. So I do hope that we can meet again in another Visiting Professor program next time. Hope you can visit us.
Inshallah.
Diponegoro, and thank you for master
Remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, we get to the last session in this event that is closing. Let's close this event by saying Hamdalah. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. As the master of ceremony, thanks to our speaker, Professor Datuk M. Nasir Syamsuddin, PhD, the committee, and the audience entirely, may what we had conduct will be useful for us. As the master of ceremony, thanks to audience entirely, and enjoy your day and see you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, Prof. Nasir.
Thank you. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So we will
Thank you,
close the Zoom. Yeah.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Prof. Nasir.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Sukses ya Mbak Sivi
Iya,
ya.
Bu. Terima kasih.
Dimatiin ya.
Bapak, Ibu, teman-teman, ini kita akan segera mematikan